Indian football team's exclusion for the 2023 Asian Games came about after a mass fan movement, because you remember a lot of Indian football fans trended the hashtag Indian football for Asian Games. There was even an appeal from India's head coach Igor Stimac directly to the government, and it took a lot of effort to actually bring about getting that opportunity for the Indian football team to actually be a part of the Asian Games. And when it was announced by AIFF President Kalyan Chaubey that the 3 senior players who would be taking part in what is essentially an under-23 tournament would be Sandesh Jhingan, Sunil Chhetri and Gurpreet Sandhu, fans were obviously overjoyed, and confidence also increased that maybe the Indian football team could at the very least have a decent run in the Asian Games football tournament. However, there was a little bit of news recently that ended up sending a lot of fans into a tizzy, and it of course revolves around these 3 players on your screen. What was that news? Why were people left so confused? And how exactly was that confusion resolved? That's what we'll be talking about in this particular video. First off, let's talk about what the confusion was in the first place. Now, Chhetri, Jhingan and Gurpreet, all 3 of them were meant to be included in the squad, because again, you remember that the Asian Games is essentially, for the men's side anyway, is an under-23 tournament, but you are allowed 3 players who are over the age of 23. Hence, Chhetri, Jhingan and Gurpreet would be those 3 players above the age of 23 who would be allowed to take part. However, when the squad was sent to the Asian Games Federation, which is the final squad that was meant to be sent by the AIFF, all 3 of their names were found missing from the squad, and the media reports hit, and obviously a lot of fans were left both confused and worried. Would their top stars be taking part? That was the major question that a lot of them had, because again, the AIFF president had confirmed as such, yet in the squad name, the only players that were there were players who were in the under-23 bracket or even younger, because truth be told, that is entirely the point of the Asian Games. But again, one of the reasons the Indian team wanted to be playing the Asian Games in the first place was because they wanted to be giving their senior players some, let's say, game time. And one of the ways you'd be giving them that game time is by letting them play in the Asian Games, where again, you're allowed 3 players over the age of 23 who can be taking part in the tournament. Now, what exactly was the reason for this? We'll get to that first, but the confusion reached such a fever pitch that it forced AIFF President Kalyan Chaubey, who remembers also the head of the IOA, to actually come out and issue a clarification. Now, he confirmed this to multiple media outlets, but this is exactly what he said. He said, I can confirm that their accreditations are already done and we have confirmation, so they are now part of the team's long list. The long story short was that what Kalyan Chaubey came out and said was that their accreditation wasn't done initially, but we realized that when we sent the squad that their names were not there, so we put in a special request for their accreditation. The accredit was done, no problem, and now all 3 of them will in fact be a part of the squad. So that's good news. Real question you'd be asking yourself is, how exactly did this confusion come about in the first place? How is it that despite the AIFF president basically confirming that all 3 players will be part of the squad and that Chhetri would be leading the squad, were their names not put in that squad to begin with? Was it just a case of mistaken identity, or was there something else at play? As you can guess, it never really is a case of mistaken identity. So what exactly was the issue at play here? Well, news reports indicate that the senior players were in fact unsure of whether or not they would be going to the Asia Cup to begin with. Now, you have to remember that because the Asian Games don't come under the ambit of a FIFA or an AFC related tournament, so clubs are under no obligation to release any players to be playing in these tournaments. If the clubs block these players' participation, there is precious little that the AIFF can do about it. That being said, it did seem like these players were in fact confused as to whether or not they'd participate, but later on they confirmed their participation because they changed their mind and had decided that no, we will be playing in this tournament after all, and that is why the AIFF had to go through the entire process of getting their accredit in at the last minute. Obviously, it's a bit of a situation where the federation looks a little bit bad, because again, the situation, sure, it got resolved in the end, but what if the players had actually chosen not to go right after the AIFF president had confirmed that all three of them would be going. Wouldn't have been a very good look, but the good news is that the situation now appears resolved. The AIFF president himself has confirmed that all three players will be taking part in the Asian Games. So that's a good news. In fact, it's a good news because, again, as I said, this is mostly an under-23 tournament, and not a lot of teams will send full-strength under-23s, and not a lot of them will even send senior players. So the fact that India are taking this tournament very seriously, well, can only be seen as nothing short of a good thing. But this was definitely a bit of a situation that could have been avoided. At least that's how I feel about it. What do you guys think? You can let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, tap that bell icon, leave us a comment, follow us on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook. Don't forget to download the SportsTak app, and if you're already on the channel, go ahead and check out some other videos that we've done. But from now, from my side,